Not a Friend, Part 8 and Final. 3 years ago, I reached a breaking point and chose to leave a church, move away from that community, and cut a web of former friends off to prioritize my health and safety. I had to accept that the environment I was living in, the community I was part of, and the relationships I had were not for me. I was way too nice in serving others, and over the course of 11 years, that reflected back to me through a normalized lack of regard and sense of entitlement. Shortly after my departure, one former friend from the church left me an angry voicemail with a permanent tone, telling me that I am no longer Josh to him and I am a 100% completely different person. He said this largely because I was unwilling to continue renting from him as he was considering selling his house. He was working out of state on a long-term job assignment, he had just gotten married, and he was moving out of the country in less than 3 months to join his wife. After he initially shared his plans, I told him I would start looking for somewhere to go, found a place, and gave him a move-out date. A week prior to my move-out date, he called to apologize to me for the psoriasis I developed while living there, said that he wasn't going to sell the house after all, and encouraged me to stay. I accepted his apology and gave up the new place I was moving to. The following week, he changed his plans. Because he was still working out of state, he wanted me to help him find renters by the time he leaves the country, and if we were unsuccessful, then he would sell the house. He emailed me a timeline to start by seeking individual renters for the other rooms. If that couldn't be done in 3 weeks, then seek a family to move in. And if that couldn't be done in 3 weeks, then he would put the house on the market. This put me in the situation I was trying to avoid in the first place. I couldn't get the place I secured back because by that time it was given to someone else. I was stressed, the apology felt like a bait and switch, and I saw the psoriasis accelerate. I left a week later without a secured place after his parents and a different former friend confronted me about the condition inside the house. The cleanliness was compromised because my skin and hair was constantly flaking off, and it was painful to do everyday things like pick up items off the floor, get in and out of the car, and get in and out of bed. I never had any chronic issues before, so the experience was horrifying and depressing to say the least. During the confrontation, the different former friend was talking to me like a misbehaved teenager, telling me, "You did this to yourself more than anyone else," and "Are you going to understand, or are you just going to sit there and say nothing?" I really thought that different former friend knew me better than that because I used to be his landlord when I was a homeowner. The mom said, "Now we don't want to have to come back here and deal with this again," and the dad stood there silently staring at me. At that moment, these people's minds were clearly and firmly made up that my character was unclean and irresponsible. Afterwards, I got a surge of adrenaline and told myself if I stay here another night, I have absolutely no respect for myself. The palms of my hands were ripping apart, and I told myself if my hands have to bleed getting out of here, then so be it. I spent the entire night packing, getting rid of things, disassembling things, and fitting whatever I could into my vehicle. I handed the keys to the former friend's parents the next morning. The mom asked, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Somewhere I can heal." "Oh, so you're going to end up where you end up?" "Yep." And I got in the car and drove away. Fast forward a couple of months, the former friend and I had a phone call about the matter, and his first response was, "Well, you could have left anytime you wanted. It wasn't like anyone was holding up to your head." Hearing that hurt, but I calmly replied, "Well, I finally left, so why is there still an issue?" That was my last phone call with him. I eventually got treatment that I must now use permanently, but I'm grateful the treatment exists. I share this to say, once you remove the rose-colored glasses, you must face the fact that you had been giving people a level of loyalty they never deserved.